No plant in history has provoked such strong opinions, nor been held in such high and low esteem in so many cultures. Miracle herb or demon weed, the truth about cannabis should not be determined by the opinions for or against it, but by science.
Bedrocan is committed to science and to patients. All of our work is evidence-based, from cultivation techniques to development of new varieties, clinical trials and studying patient preferences.
Cannabis grows all around the world, and its use by humans probably began at the end of the last ice age. It was first domesticated in China 6,000 years ago for use in cloth, rope, paper, and as food and medicine. Knowledge of the plant gradually spread west, eventually reaching Europe in the Middle Ages. During Holland's Golden Age, hemp, strong, salt-resistant cannabis fiber, provided the rope, rigging and canvas for the ships that explored the world. In 1554, the first Dutch guide to herbs was published. The Kruidenboek of Rembert Dodoens mentions cannabis at length. It became the second most translated book after the Bible and influenced the development of medicine and botany in Europe for the next 2 centuries. Cannabis became the centerpiece of the Victorian pharmacopoeia. At the height of its popularity, it was found in 80% of tinctures, salves, and medicinal preparations. For a number of economic and political reasons, cannabis and hemp were eclipsed and eventually made illegal. Although its recreational use continued underground among certain subcultures, and it was within this alternative society that knowledge of cannabis's medicinal use re-emerged.
In the 80s, we were just a farming company with the ambition to try new growing techniques like raising chicory and asparagus indoors during winter. In 2001, when the government announced its plan to distribute cannabis via pharmacies, we applied for a growing license. Thanks to our track record, we were successful. We acquired our original genetic material from the Amsterdam seed company Sensi Seeds. We started breeding their Jack Heron strain because it had a good cannabinoid profile for pain relief.
After some breeding modification, we settled on a stable variety that we call Bedrocan, with high THC content. We've cloned each new generation from this original stock.
The cannabis plants are matured to an optimum size in a matter of 2 to 3 weeks, growing up to 16 centimeters in 24 hours. A change in the daily light pattern stimulates them to flower.
Since we are growing to pharmaceutical standards, there are many health and contamination issues that need to be dealt with. For example, we do not use any pesticides, but instead give each grow room its own supply of bug predators that will do the job organically.
Each plant is tagged, so it can be tracked throughout its life cycle and into the pharmacy supply chain. Our high environmental standards mean we constantly work to minimize product input, recycle where we can, and compost all our waste. All our electricity is from renewable sources.
During flowering, the plants perform their act of biological alchemy, taking carbon dioxide, water, and a few minerals and using light energy to manufacture dozens of complex biologically active chemicals known as cannabinoids. These chemicals are remarkably similar to those produced by the human body. "100 days after they were cloned, the plants are ready to be harvested.
It's not just the genes of the plant that determine the output, but every aspect of the plant environment. So every input, from light duration and intensity to watering periods and nutrients, is carefully controlled.
Having dried in darkness for a week, the plants are trimmed and the flower heads neatly manicured.
Currently, Better Can BV is delivering almost 400 kilos annually. 70% is used in the Netherlands, and the rest in Italy, Germany, Finland, and recently also in the Czech Republic and Norway.
More than 10,000 Dutch patients have used medicinal cannabis safely and effectively.
When I was working in the first Dutch pharmacy specializing in medicinal cannabis, I was flooded with questions from doctors and patients. Is it safe? How does it work? Is inhalation better than tea? None of this was covered by current medical education. I became a kind of medicinal cannabis info point and had to find the information out for myself.
From our research, we found that the best method of using cannabis is inhalation with an herbal vaporizer. This doesn't create combustion or smoke, only vapor. The cannabinoids go unaltered into the bloodstream, quickly and efficiently. Vaporizing has removed the last objections from doctors to prescribing cannabis as medicine. Vaporizing is clean, efficient, and free of hazardous chemicals.
Cannabis is proving to be useful for treating a growing number of medical conditions, many of them resistant to mainstream medicine. Diabetes, Crohn's disease, multiple sclerosis, HIV, epilepsy, Tourette syndrome, EB, post-traumatic stress, cancer.
My name is Cor van Rossum. I'm 63 years old, and I've heard 13 weeks ago that I have cancer over all my body and my brains.
What inspired me to look for other medicine, for alternative medicine? My husband used a lot of painkillers. When he used too much, he gets anxiety and he was afraid of things, and so I couldn't give him more. The cancer he had was lung cancer. I've never heard of vaporizers before this happened. I knew nothing about marijuana. I didn't have any concerns about trying marijuana because I'm a nurse. It doesn't matter what happens because only when the pain is gone, it's okay. My husband took a few puffs, and after 15-20 minutes, he said to me, "Well, the pain is gone." It was a miracle.
As a farmer, I'm very proud of what we have achieved, and we're still learning with every new crop. In the future, we will be growing new and even more tailored varieties.
I hope that we will be expanding into more countries around the world.
We're almost ready to start clinical trials, so I expect our medicinal cannabis to become a registered medicine and be fully integrated into healthcare systems.
All our research is dedicated to putting safe, reliable cannabis into the hands of the people that need it.
I would give advice to other people who suffer the same pain as my husband had. Well, use it, because for us it was the last good times together.